Good evening, Kristen Ashbeck, Principal Planner with the Community Development Department. Before you is consideration of a request for review and approval of a consolidated service plan for the proposed Redlands 360 Metropolitan District, numbers 1 through 9. The applicant is Grand Junction Land Company, LLC. The applicant is planning to develop approximately 624 acres with a boundary generally south of the Redlands Parkway and Highway 340 intersection, east of South Camp Road, west of Highway 340, and north of the Ridges Redlands Mesa development. The outlines shown here in red are the service plan boundaries for the proposed development. The boundaries of the district encompass the Canyon Rim subdivision being developed in the southern portion of the site. The total combined area within the service plan boundaries is expected to be developed in 8 phases with 9 metropolitan districts. These are shown on Exhibits A1, the districts, and Exhibit B1, the phasing, attached in the maps and in the proposed service plan. The overall project will be coordinated by the developer, Redlands 360 LLC. The proposed development is expected to consist of 1,666 residential dwelling units, 30,000 square feet of commercial development, parks, trails, open spaces, a clubhouse, and other amenities. The primary purpose of forming the metropolitan districts is to finance construction of public improvements within the Redlands 360 and Canyon Rim 360 developments. Per state statute, the first step is to develop a service plan for the district, which is to be considered and, if found acceptable, approved by the city. The property is currently zoned planned development, PD, but without an approved plan, and also Mesa County zoning of RSF4. The northern portion of the district boundaries is currently in the annexation process and will be finalized in July 2020. The city has exercised land use jurisdiction for the area to be annexed as of May 20th. The future land use map shown here envisions urban development of the property with a wide range of potential uses from conservation to residential medium-high and a neighborhood center, with a range in residential density from 1/2 acre lots to multifamily 16 units per acre. The variety of underlying land uses lends opportunities to develop the site as conceptually proposed in the service plan with a mix of housing densities, open space, parks, trails, recreational amenities, and a limited commercial area. Overall, the proposed residential density is 2.7 dwelling units per acre. Much of the adjacent area in the county has not yet urbanized, but is planned for a similar mix of land uses to accommodate future growth in the community. Special districts are quasi-municipal corporations that are organized to act for a particular purpose. A metropolitan district is a special district that provides any 2 or more services, which may include fire protection, parks and recreation, safety protection, sanitation, solid waste, street improvements, or water, to name some of them. Districts have the ability to acquire bonds for the construction of the improvements and to levy taxes to the area within their boundaries to repay those bonds. The financing, construction, and operation and maintenance of improvements and services to support the new development is legally the responsibility of the district if formed. The trend with special district legislation has been to allow local governments to have greater control over the formation and operation of these kinds of special districts. The approval process for the service plan is the key to exercising that control as a means of preventing unnecessary proliferation of local government and tax sources and eliminating overlapping services. The municipal code does not contain provisions for review of service plans. Therefore, the process of submittal and review of a plan is governed by state statute. The requirements include submittal of the service plan to the city clerk, who in turn provides notice to the Colorado Department of Local Affairs. This was completed April 23, 2020. Then, per local policy, the service plan is referred to the Planning Commission for review and recommendation. City Council then sets a public hearing date and holds the hearing. If approved by City Council, affected property owners must vote to approve the district. If the district is formed, the sale of bonds generates funding for infrastructure and amenities. As development occurs, bonds are repaid by property owners within the district through the additional taxes paid by district residents. The applicant maintains oversight of the district. An annual audit is conducted and reports are submitted to the city and state. The city has no legal or financial liability during the life of the district. It does not reduce tax revenues, and it does not draw from the city's capital improvement budget or capital reserves. The proposed 9 districts are shown here. The Consolidated Service Plan proposes this multiple district structure in order to equitably spread the cost of development over the entire project. The districts will collectively be responsible for the financing and construction of public improvements, some of which will be conveyed to the city, to Ute Water, or other governmental entities. Other improvements will either remain with the districts or will be given to property owners associations for maintenance and operation. Having a consolidated service plan provides for coordination of the powers and authorities of the independent districts and will help avoid confusion regarding the purposes of each district. At the time of receiving the proposed Metropolitan District Service Plan, the applicant had not yet submitted an outline development plan for the proposed Redlands 360 plan development, nor a preliminary plan for the Canyon Rim 360 subdivision in an R1 zone district. This results in a review of the service plan without an accompanying approved development plan as defined by the service plan. The required submittal elements for a service plan are included in Section 32-1-202 of the Colorado Revised Statutes. The first element is a description of services. Statutory requirements state that a metropolitan district may include a variety of services, but is required to provide at least 2 services that benefit the public. The service plan for the Redlands 360 Metropolitan District is being established to finance the construction, acquisition, and/or operation of all of the improvements listed here. Another required element is a financial plan, which is included in the Consolidated Service Plan for the proposed Redlands 360 districts. It proposes the total debt that all 9 districts shall be permitted to issue shall not exceed $60 million and shall be permitted to be issued on a schedule as provided in the service plan. The financial plan was reviewed by the city's Director of General Services, Jay Valentine. In his review, he noted the petition states the debt is not backed by any pledge of revenue from the city, and approval of the plan is not a guarantee of debt repayment by the city. He also noted in his review that the financing plan for Redlands 360 is very well thought out and structured. The public improvements will be primarily financed by the issuance of general obligation bonds secured by 50 mils of ad valorem tax and an 8% specific ownership tax. Any of the districts may also levy up to 15 mils to assist in the administration of the districts and any ongoing maintenance of improvements within the districts. For reference, for a mill rate of 50 and the operations and maintenance mill rate of 15, a home priced at approximately $409,000 will have an estimated district payment of $1,900 per year. Exhibit H in the service plan is the notice that will be provided to each potential property owner regarding the existence of the district and its mill levy. In addition to the overall district boundaries map shown earlier, another required element of a service plan is preliminary engineering drawings. For the proposed Redlands 360 districts, maps such as these are included in the service plan to meet this requirement. The maps further describe the services to be provided. For illustration, on the left is a conceptual engineering drawing of the sanitary sewer system, and on the right, the conceptual layout of parks and other recreational amenities within the development. However, these do not constitute an approved development plan as defined in the service plan. Therefore, as a condition of approval, staff recommends that prior to the Consolidated Service Plan becoming effective, a development plan be reviewed and approved by the city. The development plan shall constitute approved zoning to plan development with an approved outline development plan for the Redlands 360 property and a preliminary plan for the Canyon Rim 360 portion of the development that is also consistent with the code. In addition to the description of facilities to be constructed that are illustrated in the drawings, the service plan must include a cost estimate of the construction. A cost summary for the Redlands 360 district is shown here, and staff concludes this element has been met. The estimated total cost of the public improvements is approximately $83 million in 2020 dollars. More detailed cost estimates will be derived from the proposed zoning and development plans that will be submitted and reviewed by the city under separate actions. Another required element is an intergovernmental agreement, or IGA, between the metropolitan districts and the city regarding services and public improvements. The applicant has provided a draft agreement for the performance of services between the city and the district. The district is expected to undertake all ownership, operations, and maintenance responsibilities for the public improvements that are not conveyed to the city, to the Ute Water, or other governmental entities, and will do so either itself or by contract with owner associations. If the district operates the facilities, revenue to pay the expenses for operations may be obtained from tax revenues or from the assessment of other fees and charges imposed that are pursuant to statute. Approval of the consolidated service plan by the city constitutes the city's agreement that the district may perform these functions. If the outline development plan for the plan development for Redlands 360 and the preliminary plan for Canyon Rim 360 are approved, the elements of the IGA will be better defined and agreements executed with the formation of each district. Therefore, staff finds while a draft IGA has been included in the service plan, there is need to further refine the agreement as each district is formed. This is reflected in Condition 2 of the findings and recommendation. State statute contains the criteria for action on a service plan, stating that the jurisdiction shall disapprove the service plan unless evidence satisfactory to the council of each of the following is presented. 1. There is sufficient existing and projected need for the services to be provided by the district. 2. The existing services in the area are determined inadequate. 3. The district is capable of providing the proposed services. And 4. The district has the financial ability to discharge debt. These criteria are further discussed in the staff report and are found to be met, taking into consideration that this is an infill site. There are services the city provides that are or can be made available, and the additional information provided by the applicant. In addition, the City Council may include the considerations listed here in rendering a decision. First, adequate service is not or will not be available to the area through the city or other existing municipal or quasi-municipal corporations. Second, the proposed facility and service standards are compatible with those of the city. Third, the proposal is in substantial compliance with the comprehensive plan. Fourth, the proposal is in compliance with an adopted water quality management plan. And lastly, creation of the district will be in the best interests of the area proposed to be served. These criteria are further discussed in the staff report, and similar to the previous slide, in examining these criteria, consider that the Redlands 360 property is an infill development site surrounded by developed urban areas, so there are services the city provides that are or can be made available, and the additional information provided by the applicant. Again, the action requested tonight pursuant to state statute is the Planning Commission or City Council can either approve the service plan without condition or modification, disapprove the service plan, or conditionally approve the service plan, subject to modifications of the proposed plan. In accordance with state statute, the city may conditionally approve the service plan of a proposed special district upon satisfactory evidence that it does not comply with one or more of the criteria. Final approval shall be contingent upon modification of the service plan to include such changes or additional information as shall be specifically stated in the findings of the City Council. In accordance with state statute, the findings of the city shall be based solely upon the service plan and evidence presented at the hearing by the petitioners, Planning Commission, and any interested party. The findings are that the service plan is consistent with the comprehensive plan and it meets state statutes for formation of a metropolitan district. Thus, the recommendation for the Redlands 360 Metropolitan District Service Plan is approval subject to two conditions. 1. Prior to the consolidated service plan for Redlands 360 Metropolitan Districts number 1 through 9 becoming effective, a development plan be reviewed and approved by the city. The development plan shall constitute approved zoning to plan development with an approved outline development plan consistent with the Grand Junction Municipal Code and an approved preliminary plan consistent with the Grand Junction Municipal Code for the Canyon Rim 360 portion of the district. Condition 2, approval and execution of an intergovernmental agency IGA describing the improvements and responsibilities of the city and the Redlands 360 metropolitan districts be provided as each district is formed. That concludes my presentation, and I appreciate your consideration of this item tonight.